everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Maryland Pork Producers Summer Learning Series, where I am joined by the Maryland Pork Producers Association President, Alex Fulton, and our Director of Programming and Public Relations, Jennifer Gannon. Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are
Uh,
you?
Doing good. So thank you for joining me today to talk all things Maryland Pork Producers and to kind of talk about the association, what we have going on here. So why don't we start off, Alex? Why don't you introduce yourselves to us and tell us a little bit about what you have going on over at Fulton Farm to Table?
Wonderful. So my name is Fulton. My wife Megan and I run Fulton Farm to Table here in Sykesville, Maryland. We are first generation young farmers. We raise pork, lamb, chicken, turkey, and eggs. I make a little bit of hay. We sell everything direct to consumer, farmers markets, and things of that nature. My pig operation is a registered Berkshire herd. We're farrow to finish. We do things live cover, kind of old school. We do raise some animals in woodlot settings, and then we finish pigs on concrete. It works really well for us. A little bit of a niche market. We sell just as many piglets as we do pork, and it's worked really well.
Cool things you guys have going on over there. Definitely really good to tap into the niche markets like you guys have. And we're lucky to have you on as our president. So thanks, Alex.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, Jennifer, what about you?
Sure. So, right now I'm working as the program director for the Maryland Pork Producers Association, but funny enough, I also raise pigs with my family on our farm in Queen Anne's County. We finish about 1,200 pigs a year, and they are raised in a hoop style barn, and so we have concrete floors, and they are what would be considered deeply bedded, so we use straw. In addition to that, we also grow corn, wheat, and soybeans. So we use all of that, of course, to make our own feed the pigs. And then our pigs we sell to a processor, so a little bit different than Alex. They're shipped out, and then from the processor, they're actually put into grocery stores. So it's kind of a neat full circle moment to have with some people, some conversations when we get to work with the public.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have multiple different perspectives, especially when there's so many different ways and I don't know, different I guess just different ways of raising pigs and getting that product out to the consumer. So it's good to have multiple perspectives, especially when having a conversation like this.
Yeah.
Um,
What
but
about you, man? You do.
yeah, I'll introduce myself too. So I also work for Maryland Pork Producers Association as the Assistant Director of Programming. But I've only been with the association for about a year, but for a few years now, my family has had a farrowing operation where we farrow about 150 sows throughout the year and sell those feeder pigs with a company called Nyman Ranch. And then we also do crops, so corn, soybeans, wheat, just like Jen. We're very similar, just kind of opposite ends of the growing phase there. So like I said, I've been working with Maryland pork producers for about a year now, which is about as long as I've been involved with MPPA, though my family has been in the membership for a couple years. Jennifer, I think your story is a little similar with MPPA, but why did you get involved from the beginning?
Sure. Yeah. So I came on with the Maryland Pork team in 2021. And at that time, we actually had started growing pigs back in 2016. So we've been in the hog business for a little bit at that time. But when I came on, it was really fun and it just kind of worked well with what I did outside of the office. I came in and got to work with other hog growers like yourself and Alex. And so it was a good kind of fit for me, and it's been, very educational for me. I think I've learned a lot that I've been able to take back to the farm, as much as I think I, have work to do for the association. And Alex, I think, Alex and I got to travel to the National Pork Board's Pork Forum back in March this year, and so I think he would agree. We've learned a lot and got to take a lot back home.
Perform was a really good time. It was awesome to meet a lot of people from across the country. And I was actually a little nervous going into it, small producer myself, but I mean, I think we sat one night at the dinner table with some of the biggest producers in the country, and they were just as interested in us as we were in them. And it was really awesome to see and definitely open your eyes, see the big players in the game and meet those people and talk with them. And you know, tell them Maryland does produce pork, and we may not be a huge contender, but we're here,
Yeah.
so people are excited.
Yeah, so you've been the president of the association for about a year now, Alex. What made you want to get involved?
I joined mostly for the networking, which has worked wonderfully. Being a first generation farmer, I knew some local farmers, but I really didn't know very well outside of my county. Uh, Joining MPPA has really broadened my horizons in that nature. I met you all, and I've met a lot of other people across the state, which has been huge. Connecting with other producers, and then also, my business as well, being able to sell some pay gills to different producers and just get my name out there. I'm not huge on social media. I'm not a big social media person, so shaking hands and meeting people face to face. I really enjoyed National Pork Forum, but I really enjoyed state convention more, I think, because it is everybody in the state, and I got to do the young farmers portion of that as well. And there was a lot of other young producers that were there representing themselves, and you get to meet with them and talk with them and see their perspective on things because a lot of those people are multi-generational, and they've been through it, and you get to learn a lot from them and see a lot of different things. But I think all of it together is just a great organization. Um, it's really not that hard to do. Just be present. And everybody's very nice. We're all here for the same reason, and I enjoy it. So I'm glad I joined. I kind of joined on a whim. Just happened to see an ad on Facebook, I think, and I was like, well, why am I not a part of this? And here I am. So more than happy to do it, and hope to do it for a long time.
Yeah, that's funny. You started by just seeing an ad on Facebook, and now you're one of our biggest advertisers. So you guys both mentioned going to Pork Forum. What have your other favorite events that you've attended or that Maryland Pork Producers Association has hosted over the past couple years?
Yeah. So, the Maryland pork producers, I think we've had a pretty busy last year, and I think you guys would agree with me. But I think my favorite thing that we've gotten to do so far is work with some local minor league baseball teams. And so we sponsored a game. It was three different games last summer, four actually. And we got to go and take, a table and set up a table with some educational resources for the people who were attending the game, but we also tastings. So we had pulled pork, and sausages there for people the first 100 people in the game got free samples of it. And what was really the funnest part was getting to talk to the people. And I think everyone wants to have a connection to the farm, right? And so being able to share that story with them of we are the people who are producing your pork was really fun. And I think they, appreciated getting to put a face to the product that they're purchasing in the store. And I think the other big thing was we had a trivia wheel, and so there was like different questions on it, and a lot of them were about cooking. And so it was really neat to gauge the consumer's, understanding of how to cook pork, why it's nutritious, all the important things. So I hope we get to do that again. And actually, this summer we will be at the Delmarva Shorebirds in Salisbury on August 1st for Scrapple Night. So we hope to see some people there.
Hmm. And I have to say that the scrapple sandwiches last year were very, very good. That was my favorite game I think we sponsored. So, Alex, what about you? What have your favorite events been besides Pork Forum and the state convention that you mentioned?
Baseball games and just any community outreach is a lot of fun. It's really important to get to show these people, hey, we are people. We're not a huge commercial operation that doesn't have a face to it. Every operation has a face, and we're all just farmers out here trying to produce pork and feed the world. It's interesting to see, even at our farmers markets, it's people don't understand, there's so many different ways to cook pork. At the farmers markets and at all the events we do, we have cookbooks, and it's amazing at the end of the night or at the end of the day how many cookbooks have been taken because people just don't know how to cook pork, I guess, and they're always looking for ideas. So that community outreach is a lot of fun to me because you're educating the consumer and you're getting to put a face to what we do and who we are, and it's easy to do. You just stand around and talk to people, and who doesn't like to do that? So it's a lot of fun. And, we go to a lot of different cool events. I'd never been to a minor league baseball game before until this. So that was cool to see and takes you different places and do different things. And I enjoy that.
Maggie, how about you?
Well, I mean, I have to agree. I have to say that the baseball games are a lot of fun. So, touching on networking events and talking to producers and talking to farmers across the state, what do you two see as some of the biggest benefits that the Maryland Pork Producers Association can offer to pork producers?
We have the show pig sale in the spring, which offers a few avenues for people to sell pigs and also purchase pigs. So that also helps the youth. So that's two birds in one stone, which is pretty awesome. With the small producers like myself, we have the Where to Buy map. So you can join that and another free way to advertise your pork. And then for the large producer, we're advocating on, the state and the national level for laws and things and policies that might pop up that would make it tougher on pork producers. So to really show that value of what we do every day is a challenge for us because I think some people get, nervous and push back by like, hey, maybe I don't really matter. Maybe I shouldn't join pork producers, but everybody should, whether you have one sow or 1,000 sows. It really has the benefit for everybody. We're here for everyone. We're all different sizes, and I think it's just try and get people to join. And yeah,
Yeah, I would agree 100% with what Alex says. We've tried really hard over the past couple years to provide something for everyone in the state, right? We have a bunch of different avenues within the industry. And so, trying to meet everyone there, but also I think the pork promotion side of it, I think I've really kind of taken to that as, someone who's selling to a processor. It does make a difference to me that we want to see people purchasing pork when they go to the grocery store or the farmer's market, wherever they get their meat from. We want it to be a top choice. And so I think for me, that's probably been, the biggest benefit, I guess, I would see as a personal member instead of,
Right. And it definitely is almost a hard line to balance between the larger producers that are selling in a grocery store versus the farm to table. But there is a benefit for everybody, and it's just a matter of promoting the product and getting people to buy pork in any fashion that they will, and then getting them to just cook it, make a meal out of it. So this is a question that I think is a little more of a fun one, but what is your guys' favorite pork recipe? Alex, you talked about having recipe books at your table. So, what's your favorite recipe to make with your pork?
I'm simple. I still like a grilled pork chop. I made them last night. I don't like to keep it too complicated. I've just got to keep it simple. Pork chop on the grill, put a little sauce on it, a little seasoning. You don't have to cook it very long. It's not very hard to do. Keep it simple. There's a lot of flavor in there, and it's just wonderful. It's hard to beat. I wouldn't go too complicated with it.
I love the pork chop representation.
Yes.
Pork chops get a lot of flack sometimes, but they are pretty good. Jen, what about you?
I have to say scrapple. I'm a big breakfast eater and scrapple is my favorite, but if I have to go away from that, I would say ground pork. I think ground pork is kind of coming into the spotlight now, and we use it in pretty much anything, like chili. It's great in chili. That's actually my favorite thing to put in chili. So yeah, I would say ground pork would be number two. Very usable.
Very usable. How about yourself, Maggie?
Oh, it's a tough question. It's a tough question. My all-time favorite is barbecue pulled pork. You put on a
Nice.
sandwich, mix it with some mac and cheese, some coleslaw. You really can't go wrong with barbecue pulled pork.
Solid choice.
I
And
have some in the crock pot right now.
yeah, that's what I had for dinner last night.
Nice. Good rainy
Yeah,
day.
it's comfort food.
Yes, it is.
So speaking of pork recipes, we like to post some fun recipes on the Maryland Pork Producers social media. So listeners, if you don't already, follow us on Instagram at Maryland Pork or Facebook at Maryland Pork Producers Association. And we try to post some fun recipes every now and again for you guys to try. Most of them brought by the National Pork Board with Taste What Pork Can Do. So always look out for those for some good recipe inspiration. And then we also have a consumer newsletter that we send out quarterly with recipes as well. So if anyone is interested in those, reach out, follow us on socials, and definitely cook with more pork, guys. So I have one more question for you guys, and I just want to know, where do you guys see the Maryland Pork Producers Association going? What goals do we have for the association, and where do you think that we can grow towards?
Yeah, so, I think for us, our main focus is just to kind of continue what we've been doing, and that is being a steady voice for the pork industry here in the state, and promoting the consumption of pork to consumers. And that's through teaching them basically how to use it, how to cook it, good recipes, that kind of thing. And also, I think something that has kind of been a new thing this past year is we've had a lot of folks like Alex join up who is selling direct to consumer at farmers markets and things like that. And so, fortunately, I've been able to share a lot of our resources with them to use for themselves at these events. And it's, a win-win for us and for them as well. And continue our relationship with the National Pork Board. We've had a lot of great conversations and worked with them pretty closely over the past couple of years. And so the closer we work with them, the broader our voice can be. And that's, a great win for us and a great win for them, considering we have a, pretty large population here within the state. So we have a lot of people we can reach, about pork and meat in general, just teaching them how to cook. So, yeah.
I see the MPPA just trying to stay relevant and, gain more membership and remind people that we're here. It's easy to forget about us sometimes. There's not a ton of pork producers in the state, unlike chicken and other things. But, for us to continue to jump up and down and raise our hand and say, hey, we are here. We just did that podcast a few weeks ago, Jen and I did, and that was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did it. And I hope to gain more membership and just get stronger in that sense and keep spreading the word and showing people what we can offer them and trying to just, stay relevant and stay consistent and doing what we're doing because it's obviously working and showing the consumer, hey, pork is a wonderful option. You go in the grocery store, it's a very busy, confusing place sometimes, but if you can walk down the aisles and find the pork and buy some and take it home and make a wonderful recipe, that'll make you remember it from time and time again. And I think that's what's most important, and just have a great avenue to keep people profitable and moving forward.
Yeah, I think those are all really great things. I'm really excited about the momentum and the engagement that we're getting across the state. So I'm really excited. I really hope that we can keep things moving. And speaking of our engagement, not that long ago, I'd posted on our Instagram story asking for some fun questions and what questions our followers had. So are you guys ready? I think this
Ready?
is a really great question for Alex. So, Alex, what is your favorite breed of pig and why?
I love my Berkshire sows, and a little behind the scenes. I got lucky. We were supposed to have this meeting at 5 o'clock and we postponed it a little bit, but my wonderful farm helper called me right when we postponed the meeting. He said, we just had a litter of pigs. I said, oh, okay. And I was a little lazy. The sow was still in group housing. I went down there expecting to kind of see a little bit of a mess, but the sow had done a wonderful job. She had 17 piglets, 15 were still alive. And I think that's hard to beat. She was in a group house and she did her job, and I couldn't have asked anything better for her. And I think, sows in that sense, and then just finishing pigs. I have really good luck with finishing pigs in many environments, whether it's on concrete or in the woods, winter or summer. They do a wonderful job. And they're not huge in the show ring, but they do have a nice spot in the show ring. So I think just all across the board, a Berkshire has something to offer everybody. I enjoy them. They're what I started with. Another one of our members, Andy Bauer, got me hooked on them, and I haven't looked back. And I enjoy them. I wouldn't try anything else.
That's another benefit of the Maryland Pork Producers Association is if you need a Berkshire pig, we have a hookup.
Yeah. Go. Right.
All right, so this one can be for either of you. What is your favorite chore on the farm?
Oh, I
It's a
don't know. That is a hard one. Alex, you go first.
I like to grind feed, but I do fair as well. I didn't get to be a part of this latest one this afternoon, but I try and be there for as many as I can. Helps my numbers, and it's just good to be there. But I really enjoy seeing what boars and what sows make what kind of litter, and the size of that litter, and the influence I can, whether it's positive or negative on that litter, what I can do. It's an science experiment each time, and trying to better what I have and seeing what I can do with that. So farrowing is probably my favorite. It's definitely probably the most stressful, especially those first couple of weeks when those pigs are little, but I do enjoy it and I'll stay up all night for it. And it's probably my favorite. But grinding feed, there's something about that, it's loud and it's simple, but not simple. You can kind of turn your brain off a little bit once you get things going and just kind of sit there and stare at things and, kind of buffer everything else out. But those would be my two favorite chores.
I would agree with the grinding feed. That's something that we just recently started doing on our farm this past year. And I was really nervous going into it because I just really didn't know what to expect and how much time it would be, how much work it would be. But you're right, once you get in a groove of things, you can really just kind of hang out and watch it happen. But if I had to pick a second, I would say, and this is probably going to sound like I'm lying, but cleaning the barns actually, because it's really satisfying when it's clean at the end. And of course, with pigs, it doesn't stay clean too long, but for a little while, it's nice and pretty.
For a brief moment in time, it's a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Um, my favorite chore on the farm, I really, this is also going to sound like a fake answer, but I truly enjoy ear notching and castrating and tattooing. We call it processing, but that of course also means like processing the finished hog. So, um, I really enjoy that. I think it's a great opportunity to put an eye on every single pig in the barn, see how the litters are doing. And then I just really enjoy the hands-on work and but I know a lot of people don't tend to enjoy that. I do always end up with a little blood on my shirt or a little tattoo ink all over my hands, but it's a small price. Well, thank you both so much for taking some time out of your busy days to come and speak to us and to promote the association here. I
Yeah,
think
thank you, Maggie. And I encourage people to look back. You did some very nice videos in the past. Last year, you did some really nice ones,
Yeah.
and I actually went back to them and listened to them before we went on the podcast just to kind of refresh some stats and things you had said. So people are looking for other videos like this, go back into the YouTube channel, and there's a few there that are really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would especially encourage, the youth 4-H or FFA kids to look back through them because they're super educational, especially when it comes to show season and all of that we're coming up on. So great job, Maggie. Thank you. And thank you, Alex.
Thank
yeah.
you.
We're looking forward to another good summer of hopefully some really good informative educational videos. So be on the lookout for more episodes coming in 2026. All
Be
right.
on the lookout, I guess. If anyone would like to join our newsletters, you'll stay in the loop that way. So if you'd like to join, just reach out to Maggie or I. Our emails are our first names .mdag@gmail.com. So reach out. Thank you.
Thank you.